Hello. We are slightly latchy because my computer, after sitting here for an hour with no issues, decided to lose its internet. And then when I restarted it to get the internet, it did the whole restarting circle for like a minute before I just had to hold down the power button. So it may hate me later, but it's fine. It's fine. I'll do the proper restart after this, but I was like, I need to be back. Hi. It's fine. I'm hoping it will now tell people that we're here. And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, shit, the really unorganized live is just even more chaotic." It's fine. It's on brand, to be fair, for us with this live.
This one got really. Do you know what's even worse? Do you know what's even worse? About I don't know,
Okay.
a couple hours ago, must have been a couple hours or so ago, I was sitting and all of a sudden I started not being able to breathe and started coughing and like started having that allergic reaction that I've been having where normally I can't breathe and then I start swelling up. The swelling has not started yet. The breathing has started to go back to normal, but I'm still like I can hear like the wheeze, and I was like, no, no.
I was sitting at work feeling sick, and I was like, "No, if I don't do this live show today, me and Andy are not doing it." Like, it's that blimmin' chaotic. And I want to read the next book. Like, you have no idea how excited I am to reread the classes. Like, I haven't reread them. Obviously, I haven't read any of them lately. And I'm just so excited. But I'm also excited because from the next book, you have no idea what's going to happen,
I have no idea.
which is why for the foreseeable, we will probably, like with me and Smash, do it this way around, just so I can police the comments. Because right, for this one, it doesn't make much of a difference. But like, I've given full reign to Smash for Massalong because I have managed to not get like spoilers from the general internet. Um, and she just polices them. And it's lovely. I just get to sit there for an hour. So, in case you haven't figured, this is the one for Fire Study. I read my copy like the one that's sitting behind Andy, but I took this one up. And I had a very stressful afternoon trying to get the second set of this from Fairy Loot. It was not fun. Um but look,
I don't even get my nice version until next month.
we get we got Valak. I'm excited. What, the new fire one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have it either if it makes you feel any better.
Yeah, it doesn't get released until August.
Yeah, I know. Which is why we don't have it. Um, but they're re-releasing a lot of her books with new covers because of the whole hype of romantasy right now. Um, which is why I think the audiobooks are getting upgrades and stuff, which is why Becca couldn't find the newest one, and I didn't realize that. You have juice next to you. Oh no.
Which is, yeah, I have just next to me, which is fine if the cough was coming from like my eaty pipe, but it's not. It's coming from my lung.
Yeah, I know.
Mm.
Sad. But as always, this will be filled with spoilers. So if you have not, I'm just gonna pull this up because otherwise it will be way down the line. You did, Eyes Magician. Um, as always, this is filled with spoilers. We will probably be out of order. This will not be chronological because as much as I've tried to make notes, I actually made notes today. I tried to make them chronological. It's me. They won't be. We will get distracted. Me and Andy will go off on a tangent. Our brains do that. So yeah, if you haven't read this book, which also has that cover, I'm pointing at it. I don't know why, because yeah, that one. Thanks. And about 7 other covers.
Mm.
Please don't stay. We adore you, we love you, but we don't want you to be spoiled, especially for the last book in a trilogy, which is also like the first of 3 trilogies in a world, but still, don't do it to yourself. Andy, what did you think? Did you like it? What did you rate it? First question.
We do
Did
this
you
every
rate it?
time. I probably did. I
Also,
think I
hi
stuck
to Vicky.
with my. Sorry, I'm just pulling up my story graph.
That's okay. This is fair, but also it'll be a good recap if you happen to decide to read on.
Okay, so I rated it 4.75.
Okay, that's a good.
Me
That's
and
good rating.
The problem is, me and Vicky were arguing about magic study the other night, so my brain's like totally wired to the wrong book.
Just as well, I've got some notes then.
Mhm. I do remember really enjoying it. I actually read the Kindle version because it was 99p on Kindle, and that copy of the book is really badly foxed, and I just don't want to touch it.
Yeah, that's
Like, it's
fair.
foxed and it smells bad, and it's getting on hold obviously because I'm getting my new ones.
Yeah,
But that specific book, I got it secondhand from like a secondhand book, and it is just really badly foxed and it smells. So it's getting like it's just been kept separate from
yeeted.
all my books, and it's just getting punted into the bin because I'm not infecting other books with whatever's going on in there.
Yeah,
So I read the I read the Kindle version, and every time I saw the misspelling of bow, I corrected it. I sent a little thing to the.
so there's actually a comment that Maria's made in her new editions that she didn't realize that bow and bow were different. So, like a bow and arrow versus a fighting bow were spelled differently.
I post that.
Because when Andy had picked up the original Poison Study, yeah,
It's the
I
Kindle
love that
version.
cover.
Yeah, it's
Um,
great.
when she'd picked up her original copy, I was like, it's not spelled wrong. And then I went and I looked and I was like, oh no, it is spelled wrong. Okay, but this new edition and the new editions that me and Andy are both collecting, both have it spelt right because obviously she has learned and
Corrected it.
realized.
Mhm.
But yeah, Andy messaged me. Did you know? You told me when you were here, didn't you? That every time you saw the misspelling, you were like, meh, meh.
You can report it to the. You can like highlight it and like send a thing to them to be like, "This is misspelled."
To be fair, hopefully it should then save issues. Like it should be a quicker fix because they have all the mistypes. I don't know how that works, but I listen to it audibly, which is one of the Outlander actresses, Kristen Atherton. I don't know who she
I don't know who she
plays,
is. I wonder now.
but she redid the three, and I really enjoyed them. I hadn't listened to the original trilogy, but I know Gabra Zachman did the first ones, who's done a lot of other audiobooks as well, so I've also listened to them. But will I start at my first point,
Oh.
or do you have anything Vicky
No,
and
you.
Mash, do you want to say?
If you don't keep it on like a track, I will derail the whole train. So.
This is why I made bullet points today, because my brain ain't linear either right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pull up comments as they happen. I'm not ignoring them. They just haven't happened. We'll see how much Vicky contributes, or if this is just going to be me and you yapping and her falling asleep to the sound of us two talking, which is normal. So obviously this one picks up right where we left off. It's literally almost days after. We know that Yelena has agreed to become the liaison, and we know that Faraday has escaped with Cahill. Oh look, Vicky's brain ain't burning either. This will be fun. Um, but pretty much straight off the bat, we've got a council that doesn't trust Yelena, and Yelena who's like, fuck. It's pretty much, you can just see the uphill struggle that is happening for them all, and that you know that shit's gonna happen, but
Yeah.
you're not
Do you know
sure
what?
who it's gonna come from.
I actually I kept complaining about how stupid I thought Yelena was in this book. But honestly, I actually think it more highlights just how young. Like, I always, not I always forget, but like, you do need to appreciate the fact that as well, Yelena is only, what, 19
Yeah,
in this book.
And she's been in the commander's dungeon for a year of that, and she's been captive for like 7 or 8 of that.
Mm-hmm. And the thing she's facing, like this political, like she is not, like I just want her to stop doing like I am so on Iris's side with it when I just want her to stop doing stuff and like get some education so that she can like actually because she's like, I'm going to solve all these political problems, and I'm like, with what level of political education, babe? It's like
Yep.
you can't. She just throws herself into things and then goes, oh, okay, this was a bad idea. Because like this is what's happening with the kid. This is why the council won't trust her, because she's a child who has immense power. She doesn't understand truly how to use them, and frankly, I understand why they don't trust her, because at the end of the day, the only person who's really shown her respect is the commander and Valak. So why would you, like, playing devil's advocate, why would you, a council, want someone as a liaison, like, want over someone who's extremely powerful, who you're treating like crap and have no intention of treating well, to your enemy who treats them well? That is why they don't want to. That is why they don't want to do that, because they just want to either subjugate her, kill her, or somehow otherwise have her under their thumb. And then obviously there's the whole, like, you know, again, spoilers, fact that Rose is just evil incarnate.
Yep. My literal first note is the council don't trust her, and she has to go to Rose for an evaluation. And I'm like, yeah, that was never going to go well. Go to the person who literally has despised her for 2 books already. Like, even at the point where we don't know that she is literally the whole reason for the Davians.
So
Like,
there's so many times I could tab in this book where I'm like, Yelena, babe, you're not using
your noggin.
You're not using the thing between your head and between your ears. It's like, why did the fire attack me? Who in this establishment controls fire and hates me? It took me like half a second to figure it out. It's also like with the whole, this is where I derail. Like with the whole like, who could possibly be the one that's going to betray us? Could it be the person that has helped me out and that I've known for a while now? Or could it be this totally random man that I've just met? Which one do you think, Elena? Because which one do you think? Oh, the one that's actually actively tried to help you previously, that not the totally random guy that you know nothing about. Okay, let's see how that goes.
Yeah, I hate how she turned her back on me, man.
Where was Leaf in all this? Mr. I can smell people's intentions.
And I think because Rose managed to get him as a student, he just didn't trust. I think she manipulated him, but I don't know about with Tano, because Tano was an asshole.
Tan was just what he did.
Am I going correctly for you, or is it my internet?
No, you're fine.
Okay, that's fine.
Like she just she seems to think that she's so like I this is very like watching Little Mermaid as a child and then as an adult. Because she's like I am an adult and like I need to make decisions. No, you're a child. You need to go to school. Like the whole point in Iris bringing you down
literally
here.
lost all of your education years, babe. Like, just
And
take
not
a
even
minute.
that, she has no
Chill.
magical education. Like we open the book with Dax trying to teach her how to light a friggin' candle. Like the basic thing that magicians learn to do. And she can't
I kind
do
of
it.
love, though, that she has no ability over fire, but she needs to enter fire to get to the realm to like be a. I know that we're obviously jumping all over the place. We said it would happen, but like for being a soul finder, to go and make sure that everybody that's ended up in like the equivalent of hell and that they haven't like trapped the wrong souls, making like getting there is through fire, or that's one of the easiest ways she's found so far anyway.
Mhm.
And I kind of love the fact that she goes through fire and like she can get in easily, but if she takes too long coming out, shit gets singed. I love that. And I know that obviously we are skipping. We said we were gonna. Our brains are not coping. You've got a live show. I think people should be happy that you even got one.
I do like though, like in the sense of like her abilities, magical abilities and stuff like that. It both frustrated me and then on reflection, it frustrated me while I was reading it. But then on actual reflection, I liked it because I like the fact that Yelena's magic ability is rubbish. Like you see all these, if you like pick a fantasy world and a hero who has no idea they have magical abilities and how they harness them, and every single time they go from no knowledge to suddenly knowing how to wield these powers with no training whatsoever, and like
I do,
it's
yeah,
just not realistic. You know what I mean? It's
yeah, no,
Helena at least
100%.
like they're just like
She
use
needs
your powers, and
friends.
she's like I don't know how.
Yeah, or I don't know how to do that specific thing, or like in the middle of this book, you find out that somebody's shown Leaf how to make a null shield, so he kind of tries to figure out how he can teach her, so that she can like maybe pull one around herself. And it's like it's not a massive thing. It's not like oh my god, I can suddenly do it for everyone. It's like that thing Richie always gets pissed off with like CSI and NCIS and stuff, where it's like enhance. He's like that doesn't work. It's like that thing of like you have to like raise up through like yes she can fight and yes she can keep up with like Ari and Janko kind of, but they're still going to actually like they would whip her if they were actually trying. Like you know that yes okay she's better than she was 2 years ago, which is where we started, but she's still never going to be better than like X, Y, or Z. And it's the same thing with all of their magic abilities. Yes, Leaf and like Opal and Iris and stuff, most of them, maybe not Iris because she's a like master, but a lot of them have like a single thing, or like with Star, she manages, I think it's to hide where she's standing, and it's like how she managed to. I can't remember if it was how she managed to hide, but it was like a tiny little like I have this one little thing that I can do. So like she wouldn't go to school for it; she would just learn how to do it at home. And I
Yeah.
think it's so interesting having a world where because normally as you say like you end up in a fantasy world where not only does the main character but everybody else is like battling to be the best, and everybody's like but I can be better than you and I'll do this and I'll do that, and actually in this world you don't need to really worry about it. It's great. You have you'll meet my favorite clan in the next trilogy and I'm so excited. You kind of heard about them in this one. um And if I was born into a clan, regardless of how powerful it would be, that's where I would want to be. And I'm excited. I'm
I do
excited.
like as well like the way that she learns, like the way that she learns her abilities as well is so intuitive. Like even with like the people that help her, every time she learns something new, it's because somebody's helped her. And even like Kiki helps her.
I love Kiki.
Like she's like, because for Kiki it's just so easy. Like obviously the animals have innate magic in them. Like
Yeah,
everything has innate magic in them, and like I think it's Kiki. Is it Kiki that helps her with her first soul?
yeah.
And Kiki's just like,
The bat. The bat goes around her head and pulls her into like a marketplace where there's the little boy.
no, isn't that in the inn in the building? Because Kiki's like in the alleyway, and she's like,
I
you
thought it
need
was
to
the bat.
come.
It's either the bat or the horse. I was sure it was the bat.
She goes into the cell, like it's like a cellar or something,
Yeah, that's
and
why
the
I thought it
little
was the
boy's
bat.
there, and Kiki's like, you help, and she's like, what? And she's like, you help, and she's like, how? And Kiki's like,
I don't know if you're seeing the comments.
hmm.
Bat. Because the bat ends up being her familiar.
Yeah.
Which,
I'm
if
sure.
anybody's answering the questions, is one of the answers.
Mhm. Like
Um,
even Kiki seems to understand. Like
oh, but I love Kiki
understand
though, because
magic.
as you say, like Kiki just everything's that bit simpler. Like it's like there was a bit where I can't remember what question it was, but Elena was upset about something, and Kiki had said like her answer, and she was like, "You're so clever," and she was like, "Peppermints." It was like,
Maybe.
I just love that, and I think Elena's answer was like, "Yes, and apples," like for giving the answer that you gave, and I was just like, "Oh, I love them." Um, so
Talking
not
of
only,
peppermints, can we just appreciate the fact that like even when they're on the run, Valak packed the horses peppermints.
yep,
Kiki's
um,
like peppermints, and she's like, "I'm sorry, babe, wait, we've not. We're on the run," and she's like, "Ghost
ghost.
has peppermints, don't you worry."
And she's
It's
like, "Ghost? Where ghosts? What ghosts?" And he's like, "No, ghost, ghost, our ghost." And I was just, oh, I love it so much.
is it in this one or is it in it is in this one where they have the falling out at the safe house, isn't it?
Yes,
That annoyed me.
yes. Especially when she then decided to throw herself in a fire.
Yeah,
She didn't really throw herself in a fire, but she got caught in a fire because warpers and dreams. But still,
like just
yes,
talk to each other. It's like I understand again her being like 19, but like you're a grown ass adult.
yeah. Communication, man. Um. So I think round about then, when they're in that, we've kind of gone all over the place now for my
Mhm.
comments. I don't know where we are. Um. I basically said that obviously we meet Moonman again.
Mhm.
Leaf, Elena, and Marok went to go find Cahill and Faraday, and they were going into the Sansi Plains, and they meet Moonman coming out of moonlight, which is interesting. I'm still not 100% sure on that, but sure, coming back from the Shadow Plains. Um, but at that point, we find out that Cahill and Faraday are working with the Davian clan, slash Moonman calls them vermin because they're Sansis that have been cast out. And at that point, that's kind of when they start getting called like Cahill Faraday and the vermin rather than unknown people, and who we're like hunting with. What do you think of the whole Davian clan at that point? Like, did you? I don't even know if there's a map at the start of this book. I should have thought of that. I should have looked first. Oh, there is. Okay, cool. That would have been helpful to look first. Sorry. So, you did not see the struggle. So, they've basically taken this little part here of the plains, which they flattened, and it became the Davian space rather than being part of the Sansi clan. So, this was all Sansied originally.
Mhm.
What do you think about them having like an outcast set?
What do you mean?
Because you haven't really heard in any of the others. Like, yes, you've got bad guys, like, but we've never really heard of whole sections of like clans being cut. Because obviously we've heard mostly from the Zoltanas at this point, where you've got the clan name and you've got the family name, but most people still, regardless of what you do, where you move, etc., still have that whole clan equivalent. Like they all wear their colors, they all travel around, they all do the same kind of things. Um, like the Storm Dance clan obviously try harness power. You've got the Jewel Roses who do jewelry, this, that, and the next thing. But I think it was interesting that even like 'cause this is obviously the third book in a series, but throughout it, it's interesting setting up for like the bigger world that there is obviously the ability to have like bad guys. Because
Mhm.
Maria, I find anyway, that a lot of her bad guys aren't actually bad. They're just they've made a lot of bad decisions along the way and they've ended up where they are. One of her characters in later on in a different trilogy, sorry, is one of my favorite for her. Because basically he is literally written like that person that has just made 1,001 mistakes, and you're like, oh shit, that guy would suck, or like it would suck trying to get back from like where he's ended up type thing, and you know that that happens in real life. But I think considering they've got master magicians and everybody seems to be so against Ixia's like one rule for all. I just find it so interesting that they've ended up with this like extra clan because they've stepped away from what they should have done. I don't know if that makes sense because I don't feel like my brain explained that well.
Yeah, I mean, as well, at the same time, it's not even just that they've been exiled, they've also chosen to um separate and like choose that identity for themselves as well. Like they're not saying like, no, we want to be Sanseed. They have embraced that identity
Yeah,
of being separate. Like they want to be like they see the Sanseeds as being other to them as well.
yeah. I just find it so interesting because obviously there's a lot of discussion in this book about the whole setup of Ixia, and like at one point obviously we're in Ixia with Leaf, which is interesting because Leaf's obviously never been up there. He's like, this uniforms aren't great, man, I'm not staying in this district with this color, like where's black and green? And I was like, oh, Leaf, don't mention Brazil, like don't go back, no, we're not going there. But like obviously they've got completely different like setup. They don't know, like they don't think that that's right, the whole district, and everybody has a job, everybody has a uniform, this, that, and the next thing.
And
But
yeah,
it's so similar in other aspects to what they've got. Um, it just, I hadn't picked up on it last time that I'd read it. I feel like that's way too close to the camera. Sorry.
no, I see what you mean. Yeah, they do. They still have their own areas, their own colors, their own clan name. Like they like stays with like in a way
Yeah,
that
it's just so funny because I hadn't picked up on it the last time. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I read this whole trilogy in like less than a week when I read it the first time. So it's not really that shocking that I didn't pick up on something like that.
I think it's just they stay together through social like social mores and social pressure rather than like police pressure, like
Yeah,
police pressure, if that makes sense. Like it's not that you can't, because like look at the Zaltanas or the is it the
yeah, Ilias.
Elias, they married, like they are part Sansi. They like that's
Yeah,
why Yelena is so welcome there, because they are mixed between the Sanseed and the Sultana clan. So there is intermingling between the clans,
yeah,
but but again, you can move within the military districts. You just need to get permission. So that I think it's that idea of like they think they like it's almost like they think they're better because they choose to stay where they are. Like they choose to do what they want to do, but
instead
do
of
they
they
really
have to.
choose what
Yeah,
they want to do?
I know, it was so fun. It was just one of those like, it was one of that subplots of like the political plot that I hadn't noticed last time, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of that things about rereading. I don't do it often enough. Um, Talking about Zoltanas, I'm going to slip in talk about we saw Nutty again, and she told Yelena off for having wrecked her clothes and said she was going to go make her more, which I just love. I love Nutty. She's so fun. But we also met Chestnut, which is interesting to have two cousins that closely linked, especially they're not siblings.
I think they are siblings, yeah.
Yeah. But obviously we find out that Chestnut, his power is using necklace snakes, or
Charming neck mix.
charming necklace snakes. And obviously this is the first time he's used them for defense instead of using them as just like keeping them away from the homestead. And I think it's again one of that things that I like. It's something that he's never done before, and it's like that little way that she manages to explore different types of magic than they know through other people being like, yeah, but can you do this? And I feel like that's such a normal thing. Like we might say, oh, I can do this, and they're like, yeah, but did you think about doing that thing? And you're like, oh, I didn't think about doing that. And like just that random friendship conversation, which could be about anything, by the way, because you, me, Vicky, and
But
Co
also
do all the time.
there's then the like other side of it, where if you think about the way this like the Sanseed and the Deviant went, where had he been a different kind of person, he could use that to his advantage, and he could twist that and use them as weapons.
Yeah, it fascinates me. I think,
Well, this is the whole balance of magic, and this is why the commander hates magic so much, because look at what Yelena could do as well. Like that's the whole thing about the soul finders and the soul stealers, and the armies that they can create and why they debate having a. And again, that's so funny because then the Master Magicians are falling on the side that the Commander takes. They
I
want to.
just honestly, like, I get that there's probably more in-depth work out there. There's probably like work that's like literary, like masterpieces and stuff. But the amount of stuff for like that YA like new adult crossover, especially from 16, 17 years ago, I just find these books great, and I will always come home to them. But we all know that. I mean, I'm literally running a readathon for it. But as you say, literally the fact that there's so many, oh, I don't know how to put it. There's so many crossovers in this book and parts of it where I didn't think it would show up, how close or how similar Ixia and Xitia are. Because when I read it last time, I was like, oh my god, they're so different. Like, it's like black and white. And on the surface, it is. But when you actually look at it and like think about what the fuck you're actually reading and they're discussing, so much of it is the same. Like, yes, okay, you've got the fact that in Ixia there aren't beggars, and we've got Fisk and the Helpers Guild and stuff in Xitia. And yes, you've got different animals in both, and you've got X, Y, and Z in both, and you've got magicians in one and not in the other. But in general, it's so similar, and I can't get over the fact that I missed that last time. I probably didn't. It's probably just been 15 years of reading other books that's made me forget some of the stuff that made me love it, which is probably more likely. But
as well, the more you read something, like the more times you read something, and the more things you pick up, and then the more you read other things, the more you learn, and the more you can pick apart and things like that. It's
I love it. I have in massive capital letters, Tano sucks. But we kind of touched on him.
It was even there was a point where like the tattoos flashed on his body, and she was like, "Oh, that must have been a trick of the light, babe, bitch, Yelena,
Please.
Yelena."
Please.
Remember
And
when
then,
you were like, "Oh, that kind of looks a bit like Valak in disguise"? Probably nothing. Yelena.
yeah, she doesn't pay attention. But the fact that when
Valak needs
she.
to take her to like sneak school. He needs to do like a sneak school, and he needs to be like, look, because she is
See
like,
those intuition,
see if
pay
you look at
attention.
like, see if you look at like main characters and heroes and stuff like that. If she did not have the support of the people around her,
Oh, she'd be fucked.
she'd be dead. If it
Can we.
wasn't for Valak, Ari, Django, Kiki,
But I do kind of love, though, if you think about
well,
it,
she's
Percy wouldn't
useless.
get anywhere without Annabeth and Grover.
No,
Like, he would
without
get
Annabeth, they'd all be
somewhere.
dead.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, there's always that one idiot, and it's just her in this case.
The only thing she brings to the table is her magical ability
Oh,
and her ability to get herself out of ridiculous situations.
I just love that every time she's like, this time it will work. I'm in a box again.
Her ability to throw that chocolate thing in her mouth before she gets paralyzed.
Eubroma.
Yeah. Her ability to be like, crap, someone stabbed me.
And her ability now that she's found that she can get the Kurari out of her and she can like heal herself was
That's some
cool.
Percy Jackson level shit.
That was cool. I love that at one point they're making the soup and he's like and he gasps out a name of something and then like falls over dead and they both do and then it's like, bitch, please.
Is it my
You're like,
love?
I'm like, I can't remember what. No, my love, they would be dead. It was something else. Or did he shout that?
Usually
I'm
it's my
so not
love
gonna.
is the one that you've got enough time to say it and then you're down.
It was something that was in their soup.
And she's like,
Marok had
pretends to
made.
be.
Yeah, it was before they got taken back. I'm so not going to be able to find this, am I?
It's like, I mean, slight spoiler, like spoilers for Percy Jackson if nobody's read it yet. It's like the first time he's like underwater and he's panicking and he's trying to hold his breath and he's trying to hold his breath and he's trying to hold his breath and it's just like, wait, why am I not drowning? Son of the sea god, bitch. Oh yeah, good point. Good point.
I found a bit about Kiki, which we will like. Girls hurt? Yes. Go stop. What? Kiki, help fix. And then she's gone.
I don't. Kiki is yet to kick someone.
I love Kiki, and I love the voice that Kristen did for Kiki, which probably says a lot. I also love that she says very little, but she says everything she needs to.
Unlike
you wouldn't stand for the stable boy. I love that it's like, Lavender Lady, take care. You wouldn't stand for the stable boy? Too rough. Wait for you. You're spoilt rotten. You're beautiful and I need a bath. Past your stall. Stall. Nap time. And what about your snooze before I groomed you? Pre-nap. Yeah. Life of a horse. Also life of an animal. Any animal, to be fair. I cannot find it. God only knows.
I just love that as well, like with the guy with the dogs, where like Yelena just like
Porter
sneaks up and talks in his head, and she's like, "You can hear me, can't you?" And he's like,
I love Porter. I also love the fact that he's like, I've got to hide the fact I'm saving the girls from Valak, and Valak's like, I know.
Yeah, I know.
I'm letting them go.
Everybody's like, Valak is evil, and Valak's just like,
save the people. I don't want to kill them.
I was like, look, if they're in city, they're not my problem.
Just get them there before I find them. Just go.
I'll even give you like a 30-day head start. Like,
I'm really excited. So I didn't read Study of Magic, and I'm really excited to read Study of Magic and Study of Fire when I get them. I obviously
still
have
need to get Study of
Fire.
Poisons.
Oh yeah, your one, it got returned to Amazon. I forgot. I have lots of them downstairs, so technically we'll sort it. Where am I up to? What have we not mentioned yet? I've written finding out about and then not written anything after it. Do you think I got distracted? Right. Sacrificing people in general make the vermin and the fire warper more powerful in the Kirakawa ritual. That thing is mean, especially when you find out that they cut out their hearts and then eat the devouring of the soul and the heart is what makes them more powerful. Like, it was some criminal mind shit. I think I watched.
It's just like yoink.
I do appreciate the fact that by the time we find out like more information, because obviously we find out that they're killing people for it, and it like slowly gives you more information. I feel like if it had all been given to me at once, I don't think it would have been as powerful, but also my brain would have gone, yeah. Where because like you find dribs and drabs, by the time you get to the end, you're just like, I fucking hate you, and you need to die.
I do feel like though it kind of goes from like fairies doing this to like there's a whole group of them, and I'm just like, what? Could we have a little bit more in between?
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like the Divians were built up enough. There was a little bit of like missing lore in there. And like the two battles that the two sort of not battles, like there was the battle that happened the first time with where they had the, I don't know if it was the null shield, you know, when they moved it and suddenly there was so many more of them. And then the second time when there was nothing and they find the hatch. Or they find they find the hatch and they go down into the cave. It's like two very like different scenarios, but both times it was like they were there, they were gone. Like the two situations, it was like we could have spent, like we could have, I feel like
even like an extra chapter or something.
Yeah, because like when we went to the sand, like I compared it in my head to when she goes with Iris to meet the sand seeds, and she's not meant to go, but she goes and she meets the sand seeds, and she meets Kiki's mother. She meets mother, and she kind of gets to know a bit more about the sand seeds, and like even then I would have liked to know more about the sand seeds. Like I want to know more about the clan. Like you get to know
some
very little, and I feel like it could have dug it. Like like they're YA, they're quite, you know. I feel like I don't know. I just wish there was more. And I don't know
give
if we
me
get
like
more.
a lore, like a clan lore book.
Yeah,
A
like I
chapter,
want
a
to know
short story per
more about the
clan.
clans and more about how they are. Because like when we go to meet the Zaltanas, like, and I find it fascinating being in like the house and how he's made like the chairs and stuff, like the vines,
Yeah.
and how it like hardens and how they move about the place, and how like Nutty doesn't bother with all the bits and just climbs through the trees and stuff, and like how they communicate through, and like the way like things function. Even then, like I don't think you get a great amount, but you spend more time there, and how he's like made like the lift and stuff. Like you learn a lot about her mum and dad and how their household functions. And
I love Visa and Pearl.
her mum has so much growth. Like she's so traumatized, but she's so strong.
I just want to hug her.
I love that her dad
love her.
just rolls with things.
Yeah, 100%.
And her mum is like, her mum is vicious. Like her, like when she tells her mum what she needs for the necklace snakes, and her mum's just like,
let's go.
It's like, I can do that. Like
again,
it's that thing where she makes these beautiful scents, these perfumes, these like these items that are meant to be luxuries, and like baubles, and like these, you know, just these items that are meant to be frivolous, and you know, but then she can make something that's really quite that's used for war almost, you know, like with Chestnut and his ability being turned on its head to make it dangerous instead of something that's there for safety. And then like with our dad's curare, the point of the curare was meant to be for good, and then it gets twisted into this evil thing. And again with the Theobroma, it's just like, and yet our parents are so smart, and their children are thick as shit.
I mean, I would love to say no, but yes. Yes, they are.
Do we get to see more of Leaf and Mara in the last trilogy?
Actual answer or just asking?
Because like obviously it's quite obvious that Leaf likes Mara.
Yes. And it's obvious that Opal. What are you doing? Sorry, cat. I mean, Opal is literally the next character that we follow.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know, because I don't know how much of a part Yelena plays in the next trilogy. So then I would kind of, I wasn't then sure if Leaf then comes in and out of it. Because Mara, I would expect Mara to be more in it because Opal's in it. Because Opal's not strong enough to go to the keep to be trained. But I have, what's the first one called? Is it Stormglass? My theory is, for Stormglass, we're skipping well ahead.
That's okay.
Ask me my theory about Stormglass at the end.
No, go for it now.
Oh,
there's literally 2 people watching. So.
My theory for Stormglass is that they combine. So you know how at the end of this book they mix Yelena's gift as a soul finder and Opal's gift with the glass making, and they put the souls inside the glass to store them
for the warpers.
For the warpers, yeah. My theory is that for Stormglass, they utilize, because I'm sure somebody, maybe Valak, maybe somebody else mentioned something similar in this book at some point when they were going to try and find, or either when they were trying to escape or when they were trying to find the kids in the Jill Rose clan area. They were talking about the storm dancers and how they use the storms to generate energy. Like, my thoughts are like, what if they can utilize Opal's ability with the glass and be able to take the storm dancers' powers, or like the energy that the storm dancers can like harness from these storms, and store it in the glass as like a battery of some kind, or like store that energy in the glass the same way that Yelena stored the souls. So like storm glass. Or even just like as pretty trinkets, because could you imagine capturing lightning or capturing like a storm inside like a glass orb? It would just be such a cool like paperweight. It's like, is that a barometer? Yeah, a real one. It reflects the weather outside because it's linked to the weather outside. There's so many ways you could do it. So like my theory is it's going to have something to do with like the storm dancers, because there was also mentioned that there was something getting out of control in the storm dancers' lands. Like the storms were getting out of control, and there's, I don't know if it's in that one, like the tagline on that one or the tagline in one of the other ones about Opal's power, or like her power is the only thing that can save them. So like maybe using the glass somehow to like help control or contain something. I don't know, but it's the mix of the two somehow, I think, has got something to do with the storm dancers and Opal's ability, and like combining the two somehow to create, like, in my mind, it's like creating some sort of storage for the energy, or like the storms that are created, whatever power is pulled from the storms into Opal's glass in some way. I don't know.
The fun part is I can't actually remember what happens at the start. So I can't actually tell you if it's right or if it's wrong.
If not, that's an idea for an extra.
If not,
like, Maria, we've got an idea.
Leading on from that though, Opal's glass animal figures, like the fact that some people can see them and some people can't see the magic inside it.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that obviously Opal has had everybody tell her that there isn't actually anything magic about them. And then Yelena's seen the glow. She's taken one with her. And then the commander can see the fire. And Valak can see the fire.
Now. Did she extract? I had it in my head that she extracted.
No, she's told him that there is no expiration date.
I had it in my head that she did it. Because that's the thing. Would she be able, if she extracted that soul, would he still be able to see?
I don't know. I don't think so, because it's his mum that is actually
also,
the magician.
By his own code of behavior,
he should either
he should either have that soul. He should either have that soul taken out to see if that's the magic soul, or if it's not the magic soul, he himself should be executed. So, but he is starting to see the grey area. He did say he started to see the grey area. But like, since magic is the souls of magicians, and I believe, I don't know if it's said or not what the glow is in the animals, but I thought that it was like a spark of magic in the animals. Does that mean that she's putting part of her soul into these animals somehow?
I just read it as she was putting some of the magic from like the magic source in general in, not her soul. But it's very interesting to me that Valak can see it, and obviously we find out at the end of this book, one of the things that I love, that when the magicians from the king came to kill his brother, and obviously the whole family, because they were assholes, he pulled enough magic around himself in a null shield and it's why magic doesn't affect him. So he would have technically have been a magician, but he flared out in a roundabout way and protected him from magic. But
It's
I've
almost like he
always
created a void, like he pushed it out in a
he pushed
void.
everything else out, yeah, and then wrapped himself in a cocoon, and it's why nothing can get through to him. But I've always loved that. The fact that it was answered right at the end of the trilogy, so like people wouldn't be like, but why? Because you know that people would have been, but also the fact that you understand that he would have been one. Like if he grown up and the king was still alive, he could have had magic. Like this whole world would have been completely different if the king hadn't been an ass who hadn't gone to like the father for the money that he didn't have and hadn't killed the brothers, who hadn't set him on his revenge streak, who then hadn't made him this killer, who hadn't done X, Y, and Z and found the commander so that they could then work together to overthrow the king. Like it literally the king's own karma came back and bit him in the ass. And I kind of love that because there's not that many. Like, yes, okay, you know, Cahill's got this roundabout thing where he thinks he's a nephew of the king and he thinks that he has it and
Is he
he
dead? I
find
forget.
oh, he's not dead. He did, however, give up the right to the throne and gave the sword back.
But could Valak just kill him still? I'd like to request Valak still assassinate him.
To be fair, everybody is on watch. I think there is a conversation right at the end where they're like, "We will keep an eye on him." But no, he is still alive as we speak, unfortunately.
I loved the bit where I don't know if it was in. I still don't know if it was in a magic study. I think it was a magic study, but I still like the bit where somebody was like, "Wasn't the entire royal family magicians?" And they were like, "Uh huh." It was like, "He's not a magician, so how could he be a member of the royal family?" And he was like,
It was a magic study, but again, a very good point.
"Yeah."
People are
It's
stupid.
like he's the runt. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. You have mentioned basically everybody apart from the two people that I thought you would mention, and they come together as a pair in your head.
Ay, Yanko. Also,
I,
Marin.
I love that you know exactly who I was on about. I've
I
literally
love
written
it.
Marin, Ariane, and Janko. The three of them
Is
are
it
in one line.
is it this one when they get like captured and Marin's like the I don't know if she's the captain, isn't she?
Yeah, that
And they
was
get
last book.
captured and she's like planning on how to escape and she opens the door and she's like, "Well,
It
are
was
you
the last
going or
one.
what?"
I love in this one we re-find Marin in MD7, which is where we've decided to come across the border to try get to the commander, to try have our asses saved, because everybody in Ixia wants to kill us, you know, normal Yelena.
Standard.
Standard. And she comes across and says that they need to meet the general, this, that, and the next thing. They need to stay. They need to be shown to the hut, this, that, and the next thing. And then they both have the idea that they will kick everyone out, literally with goo goo juice, and everybody will sleep and they will run away. But at this point, we find out the wonderful news that Ari, Janko, and Marin took on Valak and won. And now the bet has changed. You don't now have to beat Valak, you have to beat the three of them.
I think she finds this out in magic study because they come
Kind
with
of.
Valak. They come as protectors to the commissary, the ambassador. Ari and Janko are down.
I thought the two of them in Magic Study were fighting and were close, but hadn't managed to beat him yet. And then they said they were going to try again with Marin.
Because they were in
Maybe I
Valak's
picked that up
court.
wrong.
They were in Valak's core when they came down, and they beat him, and they
Marin wasn't with them.
No, but she was Valak's second and stayed in Ixia, in Ixia, and
Maybe. I thought they were close to beating him, just the two of them, and then they took Marin in and they bet them as a 3, which is why the rules changed to they have to beat them.
Yeah.
No more than X amount of people to a fight. Blah blah blah. But anyway, we know that Marin didn't want to become like higher up in the course. She just wanted to be a captain, nice and easy, pick a district, blah blah blah, and she chose MD7, which has the slightly sleepy, lazy general. I will now only refer to Cahill as the runt from now on. Hello. This is a spoilery-filled live discussion. If you have not read, in fact, holding the cover up will not work. If you have not read this book, you will probably be spoiled.
For all
Or
three.
for any of the trilogy.
Maybe it was just that he took them into his core in Magic Study, and then and when they were visiting, Yelena was like, "Well, you didn't say you had to fight him 1-on-1," and they were like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah,
And
so then it became 3-on-1, and then they won. I do love the fact that it's like it wasn't all that we thought it would be or something, and then her being like, "Yeah, it never is." I'm like, "Yeah, that's because you're an idiot. You keep doing stupid shit."
that they wanted to be like, they thought they were going to be like, they didn't realize it was going to be like sneak work, like spy work. They think it's going to be like, they're built for like full frontal attack. But they also can choose what they want to do.
I know, right? But they don't want to not be number 2. Come on.
Yeah.
I've got a note about the Kennel Master and his saving of magicians. We've done that. Star again. Oh my god, she needs to just get a grip. Like, I am so glad that she is gone. I hate her. I've got a note that Valak died? Question mark, exclamation mark. Because obviously he didn't, but we thought he had. Hiram and Gale managed to find a cellar underneath the house as it collapsed. And then obviously he caught up to them as they were planning. He's like, "I thought I would find you all grieving." No, we're in the middle of a war, Valak. That's not how this works.
Oh my god, that, just while you're saying that reminds me so much of a scene in Fourth Wing, and it's just like, I need people to read it so that I can talk to you about it.
Sorry.
It's just like reading off the death roll, and they all walk in, they're like, "Well, this is awkward."
Fair. And then Rose said, Rose, when she was trying to capture Yelena at the fire, right before she ended up in the fire, we obviously had the whole conversation of do what I want or I will hurt your family, blah blah blah. Same line that normally comes. And she was like, "Okay, me for Moon Man, this, that, and the next thing," and then she killed Moon Man. I hate her.
Yeah. Why?
I hate
why
Rose.
Moon?
Like, Moon Man is amazing. Like, don't get me wrong. He taught her more in the last, like, 30 seconds when she was actually paying attention. And she'd realized what the fuck to listen to. But Moon Man is one of my favorite characters of this trilogy. And how shit she was to him through this whole book pissed me off. But I have to remind myself that she's like 19 and got PTSD and got trust issues and all this crap. But why trust Tanu when you know Moon Man?
Why did Moon Man trust him?
Because he was the elder. I don't think it was so much that he trusted him, it was just he was the only elder still survived.
No, Tanu wasn't.
Tanu was the
Geddy
only...
was. Geddy was the elder.
Yeah, sorry.
Tanu was the tracker.
Yeah. I also hated Geddy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Got them confused. Why would you give up Moon Man for Geddy? And at the end, when he was like, all you had to do was ask me or beg me for my sanity, and I was like, you asshole, you could have just told her.
But no, he couldn't because he's Moon Man.
But he couldn't because he's Moon Man.
Kiki could have told her.
Kiki could have told her. Also, Fisk, what did you think? I know that we've literally skipped all over the place, and this is so not in any order now. But we saw Fisk again. So obviously we met Fisk in the first book. He was covered in dubs. He had no money. He was a beggar. He was just trying to literally get money from anyone so he could try and eat. In this one, we've now got somebody who not only is clean himself, he has managed to help all of the other little kids that are on the street
He's a
get.
CEO.
I know, right? He's made a company. They make business purchases and they don't take shit either. And it even is funny because even the guys who have stalls are like, Fisk's made me be honest. And I'm just like, I love this. They've got a house, they do check ins in the morning, they do check ins at night, which means the kids are safe. Like the kids are like accounted for. They've got money, they share out the funds that they've made, they get food. I'm just like,
And even then, like, you can tell he's not, like, he's such a good kid. Like, he's caring, he's compassionate. Even when, and, like, he's just so loyal. Like, when he has the chance to handle Yelena, but he
lovely
doesn't.
Yelena.
Like, he could hand her in for the money, and he doesn't.
Oh, I love her. And then she's like, I'm going to need a distraction. And he's like, okay, we're on it. And then, like, they'd start talking to, like, all of the, like, I just
Kids.
literally said the word, the stall owners and stuff. And they're like, oh, we don't like the Davians being around. And he's like, well, maybe if somebody, you know, who's been around here starts talking about, you know, rebelling by the time we need it. And then I and Janko are like, hey, this is us, right? This is us. We go. You can just imagine Janko just loving that. I love
You
the
can just see
comment
him
about
bouncing
the
about with all
tan
these
and the
bad puns and
freckles.
stuff.
Mm?
See him bouncing about with all these puns and stuff.
I love that there was a comment about their colorings and their freckles and him being like this bloody sun. Like, that's me. I could not have dealt with the sun if I just loved it. I love them. I love them so much. I think one of my only other comments, I've only down to a few now. We're getting there. I'm actually really happy I made notes because my brain probably would not have helped us keep this as on track. You said earlier that you knew that Rose was Jal. I don't think I picked up on that last time. I can't remember. It's been so long. But this time through, I saw like the pointers. But I can't remember picking up on it first time, and I think Vicky said she picked up on it as well. But I mean, Vicky always says that she picks up on stuff more, and I just don't think ahead of what I'm reading.
The fact that Rose was a fire user, the fact that her name is Rose with a Z, like the word raise, which is like raise, to raise something, to burn it to the ground, like that she's a fire user, and Jal is a fire user. Like, you're beating over the head with the whole fire. I was
don't
like,
think
how
you
can
find
not
out that
be the
Jal's a
person?
fire, though. You just got told that she was being taken to Jal.
No, but because of the fire, it's because of the fire.
Warper.
The fire, eh?
Because of the fire warper.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me they were just two different people. Like, I did not see the fire warper and Jal being like I knew they were working together. But just because this one has fire didn't mean this one did to my brain.
It just seemed too convenient to me.
See, the fire didn't link it to me. The fact that Rose was pushing everything and everything about them being bad. Like, Yelena couldn't do anything. Leaf was bad. Kill them. Iris and Bane, who are like the loveliest people ever, are in the dungeon. Like, that part was more, she's the bad guy. Had nothing to do with how you spell the name, which is very interesting. I do love
the
though
fire
Jen.
thing just kept coming up. So I was just like because Iris kept mentioning like, oh yeah, Rose is like, Rose will fight the fire warper because she's like the best fire person in 1,000 years. And I'm like, okay, so then why is she not able to actually do this then? Why is she holding off? Why is she like, when somebody is the most powerful person at something and suddenly their powers are not quite working the way they should be, and then you suddenly find out that, oh look, they were in power, they were like working with that person all along. It's just, it's something that's been done so many times. And when this first came out, it would have been like a new thing that like, but nowadays it's been done that way so many times that I find it easier to pick up on.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
It's just because it's been done so many times. But again, like when Maria first wrote this, it would have been newer. But now I'm starting to see the repeated tropes. It's like with the guy that betrayed them, I can't remember his name, begins with a T.
Tano.
Yeah, like that was glaringly obvious.
Yeah, that was obvious to me as well.
Like there's certain things that come up in books where the main character's always like, well, it's never going to be like, there's no way this is going to happen, and I'm like, well,
Yes,
obviously
it
it's going to
is.
happen now that you've said it's never going to happen, and then it happens, and they're like, wow, I never saw that coming, and I'm
Really?
like a freight train, you never saw that
Rookie.
coming, like that sort of thing. Like when they go down into the cave, and then they get ambushed at the end of it, and I'm like, at the end at the exit of a cave
That you
that
had one way through.
you had to bottleneck out of. You never saw that coming, knowing that they could do null shields. Never, absolute shocker, shocker. You should have walked out of that cave with Theobroma in your mouth. You should have you know, like there are certain things where like it just when they're so surprised they're doing like the shocked Pikachu face, and I'm just like,
Shocked Pikachu.
really?
I love that. That's so fun. I just have one more note. Wow, amazing. And that note is her journey in the fire world took months. Jesus. I literally wrote that. But the fact that once she learned what she could do, that she went through the fire world, she sorted it out, got rid of anybody that should have been put into the sky, which is literally the power blanket, which is literally the souls of magicians, which we find out in this book. Um, and then she obviously went to the shadow world and she started wandering around. And obviously she's not done. We are aware that there will be ghosts everywhere and souls that have not rested or gone to rest. But the fact that the first thing she did when she found it wasn't just to rush home, but she actually did the sensible adult thing and used her brain and waited until they could make sure the warper was safe and was locked away. Like, this is where I've linked into the opal glass animals, but it worked earlier too. Um, but the fact that they found how to do it was so cool to me. Like, obviously, there's ways that they could backfire. I'm hoping not. I can't remember. Genuinely have no idea. It's been that long since I've read this. It's like I'm reading it again with you for the first time. Um, but I love the fact that they managed to contain them. Like, they know that nobody else who has even like a bad day or has a hint of, you know, depression or whatever is going to be talked over by get magic, you will feel better, get stronger, blah blah blah. Which I feel is basically what the fire warper would be like.
Mm-hmm. It's like someone else will come and find me. It's like,
But will they? But will they? So I did not realize until I opened this book that they have a chapter of the study of fire in here.
it's not even written yet.
Nope. And I've had this book in my hand for how long? It's chapter 30 from Valak's point of view. And I don't even know what chapter 30 is. It is the Warper fight. No, I'm not doing it because it's literally incoming at some point. But other than the storm glass, which is in the title, so unsure how much of a spoiler that potential guess is. But anything else than that, obviously we have Opal as a main character. There is a bit of a time jump, but it does continue on, and that's pretty much all I'm going to say. Unless there's anything specifically that you want me to answer. But as I've said from the start, it is a chronological. It does follow through anyway. But I'm excited. I love Opal. I like her trilogy. Not that I didn't like these, obviously, because they made me, obsessed. Any comments for any more? There are a few people watching, so any further comments? We will attempt to not be slumping, and not be having a shit health month in general between the two of us, because it's just been hellish. We will attempt to have it scheduled earlier in the month. Probably where we normally do, round about the middle of the month. Maybe.
Yeah, like first week of the month. No. Yeah. Well, that was it around. I thought I said first month of the week there. First or second week of the month is usually the best. I think if we try and aim for the first week of the month, that would be better. Or like first full week of the month.
Yes, like the 5th to the 9th kind of time. So it is about 2-3 weeks max between this show and the next book live show. Just a heads up for Vicky especially, but also for my brain, and for anybody else listening. I don't have pretty editions of the next ones to hold up.
Not yet.
Be sad.
Not yet.
No, it's not even these ones that are coming. It's Shadow, Dawn, and Night that they're doing next.
Oh, okay.
They're doing Yelena's full 6.
Okay.
And then we've got to find out if they're doing Opal's, which is sad and hurts my brain.
Does Maria not know?
No. Or at least she hasn't told me. I did ask. And she said they were waiting to find out. It bugs me that they're doing 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. But I will take anything pretty and anything magic study related. So. Oops.
Yeah, Grace. I don't know how I feel. I'm don't want to. I'm like looking at Starglass, not like I don't want to read it.
It's literally no longer than magic study.
Yeah, but it's moving on to like new characters as well, because I don't really know Opal very well.
You will.
I know.
I love
full intimidating, like
I don't want to say what, but no.
You see
no,
Ari and Danko, and
they are in the overarching storyline. They are still hanging around, yes.
Okay, that helps.
Same as all of the guys that you've basically seen already are somewhere in the background.
Yeah, that helps.
We can do this. We can do this.
I want to read it before the end of the month because I'm doing really badly at like pushing it into my next month TBR.
Yeah. So maybe we just need to have sprints one night, or on Becca's sprints where we just both start, and then hopefully we will continue. Maybe we will figure that out. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully this wasn't as much of a car crash, because I tried to make some form of notes because I knew our brains would do our usual. Thank you to everybody who's joined us. We will be back in about 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks ish, with the next one, and fingers crossed that we manage to read it this month instead of leaving it to next. But with that, we'll see you next time.
Set up the live show fairly sharpish, so we know as long as we can get the live shows, like if we have a deadline, we can get the get everybody.
We will go organize so that we can just have it done, because then we both have a deadline. And we will put it on Twitter and in the Discord as soon as we have it. But on that note, since nobody else is commenting, we will see you later. Bye, guys.